Oh, I thought you were my daughter Mia, except she doesn't have extensions anymore. You look like one of my girls.
Oh my gosh. Well, I could be one of your girls. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me, Elaine.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Hi, everybody. This is Gertrude Mache again here in Wellington, New Zealand. And today I am interviewing yet another absolutely fascinating author by the name of Elaine De Prince. Elaine, how are you?
I am just fine. We're having our coldest day of the winter here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Other
It
than
has
being
been bitterly cold there.
It doesn't usually, but it is this year. We've had very cold weather this year because
Elaine, I have been really fascinated by your story, and I know that you wrote an amazing book. And I would love us just to have a little conversation around the book and tell me what inspired you to write the book in the first place.
well, I wrote it with my daughter Michaela, who is now 20 years old and a ballerina with the Dutch National Ballet. But I had submitted a children's picture book to an agent, and she said to me, "Oh, I love this, but could you turn this book into a young adult memoir?" So it went from being a 750-page picture book to being a full-sized young adult memoir. But the reason I decided to write about Michaela in the first place is I was writing about my children. There's a wealth of story material with my children. They've all had such interesting lives, and Michaela in particular. And I wanted to write about her because I thought she was just such an amazing kid. She had struggled so hard to become a ballerina, and it's not common to be a black ballerina in this world. It's very
No,
unusual. So I
very,
wanted.
very unique story. Now tell me a little bit about what made you inspire her to go into ballet in the first place.
Well, I never inspired her to go into ballet. I'm not even, well, I shouldn't really say this, but I don't have a passion for ballet. I love to write. I love music. I have another daughter who went into music, but I encouraged Michaela to pursue her passion because when she came to the United States, she had, when I first saw her in Africa, she had a picture folded in her underwear, and she'd been carrying it for months, and it was a picture of a ballerina, a French ballerina, and she wanted to be like this woman. So she just was primed to become a ballerina, and that's all she talked about. As soon as she learned English, that's all she talked about. And I wanted to encourage her to pursue her passion because I always felt that if you pursue your passion, you're happier in life. And I wanted her to be happy because she certainly hadn't had a happy life up to that point.
Wow. So how old was she when you adopted her?
She was 4.5 years old. But I was intrigued. I was adopting her and another little girl about her age, and I expected children who acted like they were 4 years old, like American 4-year-olds. Instead, there were these two little old ladies. They acted so much older, and they fascinated me. And I ended up having a great time with them because of that.
So the kids had to mature really quickly just based on their circumstances and the things they had gone through in their lives, obviously, correct?
Yes, I'm sure that was it. But they were also two very funny little girls, very cute little girls, very clever little girls, and very talented little girls. So they were intriguing, and I had a wonderful time with them.
So I feel that your story is all about giving, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions around giving. What changed your life when you gave to your daughters and to your children?
Well, my life had changed before I adopted my daughters. In in the early 1980s, I had adopted three little boys with severe hemophilia A, and then the blood products were infected with HIV after that, and my boys became very sick with AIDS, and they eventually died. But I was interested in adopting from the time I was a child. I just thought it was a fascinating concept, and I saw so many children in need of families and love, and I just wanted to pursue that. And I found a good husband who wanted to pursue it too. Otherwise, I could not possibly have adopted nine children. But this is what led me to adopt. My boys, after they died, I thought after I had adopted my three boys that I was done adopting because I was in my 50s. My husband was even older. But my 15-year-old son, who had died in 1994, had always wanted to adopt a child from Africa, even though he looked like me, ironically. It wasn't a racial issue for him. It was the fact that there were so many droughts in Africa and there were so many wars, and he wanted to do something for the children there. So after he died, I was in law school, and I said to my husband, the world does not need another middle-aged lawyer. I said, I would like to adopt again. And we were going to adopt one little girl, and it ended up that we adopted six girls.
So yours is an amazing story. So it looks to me like motherhood is something you were primed for.
Oh, it was definitely more fun than law school. It was definitely something that I loved. But I would not have done it if it hadn't been for my son Michael's inspiration.
Wow. So why is giving so important for the future of humanity, do you think?
Well, that's a good question because I teach my children this. Um, I think that as human beings, if we don't give, we're just like wild beasts, aggressive, killing. By giving, we extend our love and we just expand our sense of humanity. And I just think that giving is such an important part, especially when you've had good fortune. I feel when you've had good fortune come your way, you especially owe it to someone else to give.
Wow.
Because you don't, why are you entitled to such goodness, such blessing? I've always told my children that too. Nothing has entitled you to that. You weren't born with any special reason for being healthy or in a good place or having a safe family. Therefore, if it all comes to you, then you need to give.
Wow. So tell me a story of what changed your life when someone gave to you.
Well, I'm not sure that I was one of these lucky children that had things go well for me. I was the type of person that searched for good things, always made the best of bad situations. But I didn't have goodness in my life. So I don't know why I thought this was so important. I just did.
Or maybe it's because of that life experience that you wanted to turn that around.
I think you're probably right, Gertrude. I think that because I didn't have it, I wanted to have it, and I wanted to find it, and then I wanted to give it. So this might be right. And I just found the right person to as a partner in my life who felt the same way. So
Well, it sounds
that
like an absolute blessing that the two of you found each other and ended up bringing up 9 children.
yes, yes. I mean, how many men can you say, well, I want a large family and I want to adopt them? And they would say, oh, great. But before we were married, we talked about it, and he agreed with me that that would be fine. And it has been
Fantastic.
fine. He's been the most wonderful, generous father.
Well, then let's go back to the book. Tell me three things that your potential readers will get out of this book.
I believe that my readers will learn that despite the hardships in life, there's something good to be found and not to give up trying to find it. And I think that they would also learn from this book that if they do have good things come to them, as I just said, they should share it. They should give it back, and this will make their own lives richer and fuller. And as far as the third thing, well, I think it's just a happy story and it's an uplifting story, and it's a feel good story, and everybody needs a feel good story.
Yes, the world needs more good news and good stories, I think. A lot of the
Exactly.
times, the media does focus on all things negative, and when I read your story, it totally uplifted me because normally what I do first thing in the morning is I look for inspiring stories before I start my day. And it was through Facebook that I found your story, and it certainly made my day, and it's been an absolute honor to be able to connect with you and just to hear from the mother of this amazing young woman who's out there in the world doing her thing, but also realizing that she wouldn't do it if she didn't have you as a mom.
Well, I had a friend who used to say to me, uh, when you're given lemons, you make lemonade. She says, this adage is true of you. And I've always tried to teach this to my children, to always look on the bright side of things. So I'm hoping that I was able to teach this to them and that they could teach it to others, or just by
Fantastic.
example.
Well, you've been a good role model. You've been a fantastic example. Good luck with your book, and I'm hoping that you will keep writing and we'll hear more from Elaine De Prince as you unravel your career as an author as well.
Oh yes, this was not the first book that I had written with or without my daughter. When my boys died of AIDS, I wrote a book about hemophilia and HIV. I will continue writing because it's just my way of expressing myself, and I'm writing now. I was writing right before you called.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this interview, Elaine.
You're
Good luck
welcome.
with everything.
Thank you.
Mhm.